I've made a video before about how I would approach negative equity in terms of figuring out who is going to take in your car for the least amount of damage possible, as in getting the car appraised for the highest amount and then subtracting whatever your payoff is, and how to go about doing that. I'm going to put a card up top, watch that video, and then come back. So the difference between rolling in your negative equity into a lease versus taking out a personal loan. This all has to do with what the lease's interest rate is, or rather the money factor, and what kind of interest rate you'd qualify for on a personal loan. Because a lease is sort of like a line of credit, in essence, they're loaning you out whatever the sum of all your lease payments are as a line of credit, and you're paying that off over a course of 3 years with a purchase option of a car when that loan is through. The interest rate that they give you can greatly vary from car to car. Now, say you qualify for the lowest possible interest rate on a car, say that APR is at 4% or 0.00167, and say you qualified for a really low interest rate on a personal loan at 4%. What does, say, $10,000 cost you in terms of rolling it into a lease versus taking out a 3-year 4% personal loan for $10,000? What is happening, guys? Ari here with Boston Automotive Consulting, and as always, this video is brought to you by SaveOnMyAuto.com. SaveOnMyAuto.com is a resource you can use so that you can shop around for the best possible deal. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, because this whole channel is dedicated to giving you everything you're gonna need so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. Now, what I'm doing is I'm assuming that you've got no origination fee on your personal loan. If you've got an origination fee on your personal loan, like let's say a 4% origination fee, then add that into the overall cost of what I'm talking about right now. The reason why I typically suggest, if the interest rate or money factor is very, very low on a lease and you qualify for that interest rate or money factor, because you're paying an acquisition fee on the lease, you'd be avoiding having to pay an origination fee on a personal loan. So in essence, we'd be capitalizing on hopefully a low APR or money factor on the lease, knowing that we'd have to pay it off in 3 years. If you want to be strict, roll it into a lease with a low APR. Let me tell you how much that costs. So we've got our $10,000 and we've got a 4% APR or a 0.00167 money factor on the lease. If you're not sure what the money factor is on your lease, you've got to be very careful, and you want to always ask what it is. When you get that number, multiply it by 2,400. So in essence, if we had a 0.00220 money factor, that comes out to about a 5.28% APR. So if you're qualifying for much less in APR on your personal loan, definitely don't roll it into the lease. So we've got a 4% APR on the lease, 4% APR on the personal loan, $10,000 in negative equity being rolled in over a course of 3 years on each situation. So if we're assuming no origination fee on the personal loan, it's actually costing us $629 in interest being paid on that $10,000 if you were to do it this way. And if you were to roll it into a lease at a 0.00167 money factor, we'd be talking about $601. So the main determining factor in which way is going to be better is finding out what the interest rate is on the lease, simply just by asking the dealer what is the money factor on the lease, and finding out if there's an origination fee on the personal loan that's going to make it drastically higher. So for example, if there was a 4% origination fee, we'd be adding 4% of $10,000 to the original $629. So now $1,029 versus $601 on the lease with an acquisition fee that you're probably going to pay for regardless. It's pretty much an apples to apples comparison, but people don't realize that interest rates on leases can vary greatly. And the fact of the matter is that I was using an interest rate that's considered to me as being fairly high. There's a lot of leases out there. For example, Volkswagen or Toyota sometimes, or Honda, they'll offer a very, very low APR on their lease, a low money factor, sometimes even the money factor being close to zero that you could roll in your negative equity into. Keep in mind, however, the only issue with some cars that don't really go above $30,000 is that the bank will only loan out about 120% of whatever the loan to value is. So on a $30,000 car, they can only loan out about $36,000. So the negative equity might be too much. If you're rolling in negative equity into a higher price vehicle, 120% loan to value on a $50,000 car would be about 60 grand. So in that case, you would be able to roll in 10 grand. So interest rate on the lease, the money factor, it's got to be super, super low, preferably lower than whatever your personal loan APR is. And whatever the value of the new car that you're leasing, make sure that your negative equity doesn't exceed 20% of the new car. So guys, I hope that you found this information useful as far as what is the actual cost of rolling in negative equity in terms of folding it into a lease or just taking out a loan. I know Dave Ramsey would want to punch me in the face for this video, but if you've got no other options left, here's what it'll cost you. If you found this information useful and you want to see more of these new car buying and negotiation tip type videos, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to visit saveonmyauto.com as well as all the available resources down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.